I have to go to the envelope for that, and I will. Here it comes. And my eyes see Oppenheimer.
Wow, what great Oscars. Can't believe that movie won. So cool.
What if you say that, but like something just like horrifying happens at the Oscars?
Yeah.
We all just watch something terrible happen to like the world, and it's like Eli, like, oh, good Oscars.
It's like 30 Rock when like Jack like pre-tapes like a disaster special, and it ends up being like Mel Gibson's Island. Yeah.
I have an important update from our last episode, which is I have received 14 emails, 12 of which said it was Jake Gyllenhaal who made Rebecca Ferguson cry.
Were they all from one person?
Yeah,
Wow.
it was all from Hugh Jackman. He was like, it was Jake Gyllenhaal. It was Jake Gyllenhaal.
Hugh Jackman had 14 different email addresses just to point the finger at Jake Gyllenhaal.
No. And then he said, please go see Deadpool versus Wolverine whenever that's coming out.
Do you want to see that movie now, Caroline, or is it still a big no for us?
So I didn't even know that was a thing until I was seeing The Taste of Things on Saturday. I was like, I didn't know this was a real movie.
Oh, you didn't watch the Super Bowl?
I watched most of it, but then I left early to go see Dreamgirls at the Academy Museum.
Hey, speaking of sports
Classic.
and musical theater,
We have a guest.
That was an amazing segue.
Yeah.
I'm seething that the segue I set up just got stepped on.
Oh no. Do you want to do yours too? We could do both
do
and have
yours.
both
Seething.
options.
We can have options.
seething.
Let's try another take. We'll do yours.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
Shit.
We don't have to.
No.
no, I want to hear it.
No, I
Then I'll
need to
try
hear
one.
it.
Look.
And then I'll try one.
When I was in high school, everyone sat at different tables in the cafeteria. You had your potheads, you had your band people, but then you also had your theater kids and your sports kids. And I like to bounce around to all of them, and so did our guest. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome from... Was that okay? Caroline, do you want to try one?
Sure. I was just like, are you describing Mean Girls? That was like the...
You guys didn't go to high school in Dreamgirls and Mean Girls? God damn it, it's late. I'm tired.
Okay, so often, like the reboot and Just Like That, you often feel like we're missing one piece. We've got our Carrie, we've got our Charlotte, we've got our Miranda, but we're missing our Samantha. And that's why this week we brought in our Samantha, and I've never described her as a Samantha until tonight. We have co-host with Sports Kid, Drama Kid, Andi Sharavsky.
Oh my God. Is this my bat mitzvah? I feel so special.
Wait, no, I'm going to do one. Now I have to do one.
Wait, real quick,
No.
before you do one, Andy, initial reaction to being called a Samantha?
I'm okay with it because like she's objectively the funniest one on the show and probably the one with like the healthiest relationship with her own mental health.
It's true.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's probably not accurate, but I'm fine with that.
Well, yeah, that's a whole other podcast where we analyze
It's coming from
who's who on-
Caroline, so I know it's coming from a place of love, so I take it. I take it in a place of love.
Is Ethan a Charlotte?
100%.
Ethan, yeah.
Thank you, Ethan.
Is that good?
Actually, it's great. Charlotte
Yeah,
has like,
it
maybe
is.
the best relationship on the show.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the
Yeah.
best marriage for sure. 100%.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And she converts to Judaism.
she does.
Well, okay.
Because of Elizabeth
One
Taylor.
up her there, took her down there.
I'm the jazz guy from that one episode with Ron
Oh my
Livingston when he's the
God.
jazz guy.
Oh,
You're
Or is he a
two different
skipper?
episodes. No, the Jazz Guys one episode, but then Ron Livingston is almost Ron Livingston's Burger.
Burger's in season 5 and 6.
Sorry,
I'm
it's like
yeah.
this is so
editing
funny.
this out. I
This is
cannot
the-
lose my Sex and the
This
City
is
cred.
the only subject I will ever like interrupt someone and be like, "You're wrong."
I saw.
Ethan, we'll get to you in a second. Back to Sex and the City. If the movies are not canon, is the reboot canon? Is and just like that canon?
Yeah, it is now.
It is now. Now that we're into season
yes.
3. Yeah.
Yeah, reluctantly, yes. I feel like I'm hanging out with friends I haven't seen in a long time.
Yeah.
And like, because it was just Sex and the City. I think a lot of, particularly women, millennial women, feel this way about it. Because like, I don't know, it was just like on in the background of like so many of my like pivotal life moments.
I mean, I was so deranged at 15 years old calling every man I was interested in my Mr. Big, watching these 30-something-year-old women.
100%. Oh my God. We've talked about this. Caroline and I think I've actually like showed you parts of my diary, but like my high school diary is absolutely like me attempting to be Carrie Bradshaw. Like 1,000,000%.
That was going to be my question.
Yeah.
That was going to be my
I
question.
saw-
And Ethan, we'll get to you in a second. But my question was going to be, growing up, did you feel like you were the Carrie of the group? And at what age did you lose being the Carrie?
I unfortunately still feel like I'm the Carrie.
Yeah, I think every we all toxically feel like we're the Carrie because Carrie's the main character. That being said, though, Carrie is very unlikable. Like,
Yeah.
I think she is the main character, but she's really quite flawed. And I don't know, though. I mean, I think in my friend group, I was always the Miranda because Miranda was seen as like, the snarky, funny one. So, yeah, I don't know that but I think I thought of myself as a Carrie Bradshaw when in the voice of my high school diary is literally like, it's so cringy because I write in like her tone, but I'm speaking about like, I don't know, some guy who was in my English class named Greg. Like, it's like really embarrassing.
Was he taking you to Rita's to get water ice?
No, nobody was taking me to. That was the other part about it. It was very like, I wasn't doing anything. I was just like writing about like the possibility of entertaining doing something. Yeah, I mean, the later years, maybe I was no. I mean, whatever. You get the gist.
Ethan, do you want to do your intro?
No, not
Oh my
really.
God.
We're gone.
We're so happy to have the Samantha of our group here, Andy, and we picked the perfect episode because we are kicking off our March Madness. That's right, it is the March Sisters Madness. We're talking Little Women. Andy, what's your relationship with Little Women?
Oh boy. It was not like a beloved book to me as a tween or a teen. I did not read it until my late 20s because I got cast in a production of Little Women, the musical in Chicago. It was like a storefront theater production, and I got cast as Meg March. And so I had to read Little Women for the first time. And now I have like a very special place in my heart for it. I would also say like the movie, the Winona Ryder movie, I think has a special place in the hearts of all women of my time. Caroline, would you say that?
Yeah, I would say that although weirdly I am more of a 2019.
I also really like that version as well.
Yeah.
Though.
It's funny, to tie this back to Sex and the City, this was like the original girls. These were the original Sex and the City girls, the 4 of them. We had
It's
Meg,
true.
Joe,
Whoa.
Amy.
Wow.
Yeah, tie it all back.
Yeah.
And they're original 4 and Beth. Sorry, I forgot Beth. Don't mean to forget Beth, but you do kind of forget Beth. But like,
I mean,
Forgettable. She's
she-
forgettable.
I mean, it's healthy to forget her eventually. She does die.
Spoilers.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Actually, when Madeline and I saw the 2019 version, we all know Beth dies, but at some point, like Madeline has her head like on my like arm sleeve, and my arm is just drenched because she's just sobbing.
yeah.
And I'm like, you knew Beth
Yeah.
was gonna die. She's like, but it's so sad. It was
Yeah,
sad, actually. It was really
it's
sad.
Very,
It's
very
tough.
sad. I remember feeling very like traumatized by the Claire Danes moment in the Winona Ryder one, and like I don't think Claire Danes is a particularly good actress, but it still moved me quite a bit.
I would love to break that down because I actually agree with that Claire Danes take.
You
do?
I agree with Claire Danes being an on-off actress. Sometimes I love her. Sometimes she's doing the same, like I can't even explain it.
She doesn't have the range to do some of the roles she's cast
I think
in,
it's
is
range.
what I would say. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Shop Girl character. It's the character from Shop Girl in name a movie. It's Shop Girl in Little Women. It's Shop Girl in My So-Called Life.
Yeah.
That's how I see
that's
it.
fair.
She's got good acting face, but I just think of like all the memes from Homeland where she was just crying nonstop.
The crying face.
Great crying.
Yeah.
Great crying face.
Yeah.
Can we really quickly hash this out? Okay, so characters in Little Women are Jo, Meg, Amy, Beth, and then of course Lori. Jo is the
Jo is
she's
Carrie, I guess.
so Jo is Carrie. Thank you. Jo is
she's
Carrie.
also a writer. They're both writers.
Yeah, they're both writers.
Yeah.
Meg, is that going to be Charlotte or Miranda or Samantha?
That's
I think
definitely
Amy is Samantha.
Charlotte. Oh.
Well, because I think Meg is maybe the Miranda because Beth is not. You have to think about like where does Beth fall in?
Yeah, that's a good point.
I put Beth at.
I put Beth at Charlotte.
I put Beth at Charlotte.
Beth is a Miranda. I don't know. I think she's got like an inner wisdom. Whatever. It's fine. Yeah. No,
Ethan, we'll get to you in a second. But do you agree that Amy is Samantha?
Amy is 100% Samantha.
Yeah, for sure.
Can I ask a question? Because of a show that I watched. In the show Girls by Lena Dunham, are all four of them just Amy? Is it just like a group of four Amys together?
Yeah.
Yeah. Different shades of Amy.
That's an astute.
Thank you.
Astute take.
Is Adam Driver also Amy?
Yeah, every single character is Amy March.
Ray is also Amy March. Yeah.
I mean, kind of in that, like, all of the characters are unlikable and you can't form, for some reason, you're interested in what they're doing, but you can't really form an emotional attachment to them where you would, like, actually want to, like, know these people.
Andrew Rannells, also Amy.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
Well, 100%.
Oh, yeah.
So, Little Women, we're doing the movies of, so the way this March Madness will work, we're doing, pitting the movies of Florence Pugh. Is it Pugh? I get self-conscious every time I say her last name. Is it Pugh?
Pierre?
Florence Pugh versus Emma Watson versus Saoirse Ronan, Eliza Scanlon. That's one side of the bracket. The other side of the bracket, we have Kirsten Dunst, Claire Danes, Winona Ryder, and Trini Alvarado. This is gonna be a
Go
battle.
to our Instagram to see the bracket.
Yeah.
So you
I
can
need to see that
play
pod.
at home.
Yeah.
Yeah. Submit your
Oh, yeah.
brackets. Put money down in Vegas. Like, participate, you know?
Yeah.
By the way, this is I Need to See That, a podcast about movies. I'm Eli.
I'm Caroline.
I'm Ethan.
And that's Andy.
I didn't know if I was supposed to go. I'm Andy.
I
Hello.
saw the look of fear in your face, and
I was just like, I don't know.
priceless.
If it's like a choreographed thing, I don't want to interrupt it.
I don't care how like good the rest of this podcast is, and how amazing our subscription numbers are, and how many countries listen to us. I am never going to get over the fact that I confused the jazz guy with Burger. And
These are two very different characters.
I
Yeah.
don't think I'm going to sleep tonight.
Here's the
I might
thing.
quit the podcast.
Eli,
No,
I see,
don't quit.
I understand why you did that though, because I feel like they have similar vibes. Or like rather, Carrie's moment with them had. I understand where you're coming from in like a weird vibes way.
And also, Jazz Guy was season 4 and Burger was
Yes.
season 5. So within
Yes.
the like lexicon, like they're not that far from each other
They are
chronologically.
not. They are not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ethan, we'll get with you in a second.
Mhm.
I think, How do you guys want to kick off this March Sisters Madness? Do you want to just go through it?
I think that we should just start with each first matchup and talk about it, and then collectively we decide a winner, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or
There we go.
Who we're voting for. Yeah.
So we're kicking it off.
So round one is picking the representative movie of the actor.
Choose your fighter. Yeah, I see. The play
Choose your fighter. This is the play-in.
And then audience will vote the next round. Is that kind of how we want to... Listeners? How do we think?
I think that the listeners should submit their own brackets to like ESPN.com as you do in the March Madness bracket.
Wow. Okay. Yes.
I want to see what they have, but you know, they didn't start this podcast, so fuck them. We should pick the winners.
Yeah, Ethan, I'm on your boat. I think the listeners should go fuck themselves.
Okay.
Yeah. Especially if you're from Norway.
All right, round one. We have the films of Florence Pugh, but the two we picked are Midsommar and Lady Macbeth.
Real uppers.
We were talking about, I'm not saying Florence Pugh is one note. She is by far one of my favorite actresses right now, but every movie she's in, she does her frown face. And it's kind of like a drinking game I have where I watch a Florence Pugh movie and I look for sad cat frown face. And I think there's some good sad cat frown face in both Midsommar and Lady Macbeth.
Yeah.
What do you all feel?
I have not seen Lady Macbeth, sadly, so I feel like I'm by default going to choose Midsommar.
I watched Lady Macbeth. It's a real fucked up movie, and she's very good. And I totally get how that was like a catapult movie for her. Midsommar is one of the best horror movies of the century so far, so
yes,
it definitely is Midsommar. But Lady Macbeth it's a pretty short movie, and it's worth checking out. It's very good, and she's very evil in it.
Is it streaming anywhere, or was it a rental?
Yeah, no, I found it somewhere. So it's available on the internet.
Wow. Okay, so we know famously I'm never gonna watch Midsommar. Because it's too graphic for me. It's too much.
Fair. I looked up the plot ahead of time. I literally spoiled it for myself on purpose because I was like, I do want to watch this, but I need to go in like having some sense of security. So I get it. I totally get it.
Did you watch it?
I did.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. There's one screenplay I own that is currently on my bookshelf, and it's Midsommar. I bought the A24 sells this like coffee table book version of the screenplay.
Yeah,
I think
it's amazing.
An unreal movie.
It's amazing, and I'm still glad that I did what I did because I think I would not be able to like sleep sometimes thinking about that movie otherwise. What did you say?
Do you do that with other horror movies? Look up the plot to like help you dip your toe in?
Sometimes, yeah. It's sometimes just to like check, like, am I gonna be able to handle this? And sometimes it's like, I want to be able to like enjoy it. It's sort of like getting on a roller coaster. It's like, you know, you're not gonna die, but you are gonna feel scared. And so I'm like, I want to feel scared. I just don't want to feel scared and like psychologically fucked up. I want to like appreciate the plot and then also like feel scared. I don't know. Is that's where I'm at with that.
And there's resolution.
It's a weird self-care tool of like, or it's kind of sometimes knowing how long I'm going to have to sit in something unpleasant of like, ooh, I really hate this. But then I'm like, oh, I read on Wikipedia that like the next scene is this. So like, okay, maybe we'll move on. It's like a security thing of like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that means about me or my brain, but it's not always. I don't always do that. It's just for scary movies because I also don't care as much about spoilers for scary movies because it's not a genre that I like have at the top of my list, I guess.
So we are moving Florence Pugh's Midsommar up. This was kind of a no-brainer for me. I love Lady Macbeth. If you're listening and if you haven't heard of or seen Lady Macbeth, watch it. Directed by William Oldroyd, who this year did the movie Eileen, which is a really cool movie. I call that movie Anne Hathaway Slay.
It's really a whole year of Anne Hathaway Slay. She's back, baby.
I was going to say, 2024 or 2023 was a good Anne Hathaway Slay with Eileen, but 2024, get ready.
Yeah,
Buckle up.
I think we have yet to see the best of Anne Hathaway.
Yeah, I agree.
saw the best of Anne Hathaway when Barbara Streisand walked on stage and she cried before
It was
Barbara
incredible.
Streisand said anything. Anne Hathaway just saw Barbara Streisand and tears rolled down her face.
Yeah,
And Anne Hathaway slay.
yeah. It's a great time.
Moving on to Emma Watson, we have The Bling Ring versus Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. And I'm going to say this is one of the hardest ones for me. I love both of these movies. I do.
Can I say that the problem with Emma Watson's acting career is outside of Little Women and these two movies a little bit, she has not been in good movies. She's been in
money-making movies. She has more money than any, like, between Harry Potter and then don't forget about Beauty and the Beast, which made all the money in the world.
Yeah, live action.
No, it's not a good movie, but you don't have to be good when you're that rich.
Yeah.
I liked Perks of Being a Wallflower, I guess, but I did
It was
not
fine.
I didn't like her in it. I felt like it was weird casting.
Somebody also told me about how she acts with her eyebrows, and I can't watch her the same way since. If you watch her again, check out the eyebrow acting. It's
Sometimes that's
actually
hard.
kind of fascinating.
It's hard when you realize like there's something that an actor does when they are like acting with a capital A, and there was like someone I knew in college who like was very, very active nostrils, like very flaring.
Oh,
like a lot of like nose acting, and like I couldn't help it. I was just like, this is so distracting to me.
So boiling Emma Watson's film career down to two movies, The Bling Ring, Sofia Coppola, and to me the best Harry Potter, the third one, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
Agreed.
Which one do you want to move forward?
okay. I love Sophia with every inch and fiber of my being. That being said, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban rules start to finish. It changes the tone of that entire series. Also, was it who's the guy that directed Roma? He's the one who directed this.
Yeah, Alfonso Cuarón directed this.
Alfonso Cuarón directed, and it's so stylistically fascinating. And Hermione, this is when she gets her time turner. This is when that like really takes off. So I think I'm going Prisoner of Azkaban.
This is where I'm not an owl came from, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not an owl.
I mean, I think it's one of the worst Sofia Coppola movies versus definitely the best Harry Potter movie. And so for that reason, I would go Harry Potter too.
I agree with all of the above. I didn't actually even realize that Bling Ring was Sofia Coppola because I just remember seeing it once and not liking it, and I haven't thought about it much since. So
I'm a Bling Ring defender, but I am also a Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. I'm so tired. I'm moving that forward. Harry Potter is moving forward. I'm not an owl for that alone. Okay, fine. That one was not the hardest one. This one's the hardest one. Saoirse Ronan.
Clearly the hardest one.
The movies of Saoirse Ronan. Brooklyn versus Lady Bird.
So
I know
hard.
my pick, and it's Lady Bird because while I love Brooklyn more than most people, Lady Bird is... come on, it's Lady Bird.
The only thing I'm gonna like poke a hole in our rules right now is it wrong that this is like a bracket that is inspired by a movie directed by Greta Gerwig to push another Greta Gerwig movie through.
No, it's fine.
It's fine.
Okay,
yeah,
then
it's
Lady
fine.
Lady Bird is the better movie. Lady Bird's the better movie.
I'm gonna fight for Brooklyn because that movie is so devastating.
So good.
And Saoirse
It's so
is
good.
so good in it, and it's like I had to
She is.
rehash because it's been a while since I've watched it. So I was rereading the synopsis earlier, and I as I was reading it, I remembered how upset I was watching this movie because she goes back to Ireland and she's gotten married to the guy in Brooklyn, and it's so good, and she's so great, and and Saoirse's at her best when she's in a period piece, much like Keira Knightley.
I haven't seen Brooklyn, and
I know, it's fine.
so I feel like I don't actually have a fair
Andy,
vote
you
in
should
this.
see it.
I know.
You should see
I've heard
Brooklyn.
it's amazing.
Andy, you will love it.
No, I'm
Yeah.
sure that I will, and that was a beautiful description of it. So by default, I vote Lady Bird because I haven't seen it, and also Lady Bird was one of the best movies.
Brooklyn,
I
yeah,
had ever
Lady
seen,
Bird's
but,
amazing.
But I'm sure I would agree with you, Caroline. Had I'll see it eventually. I'll watch it soon.
Caroline, thank you. Thank you for trying to fight for Brooklyn, just like Adam Sandler, and just go with it. But Lady Bird is moving on.
I tried.
So stupid, but it made me laugh. Eliza Scanlon.
Mm-hmm.
2 movies that are really good movies. Old and Baby Teeth. What is going forward with Old? None of you seen any of these movies? You're all shaking your heads.
seen
I haven't
Old.
seen either of them.
I know the plot to Old, much because like Andy, I also Google horror movie plots. So I know what happens.
I know the conceit of Old. Baby Teeth. I haven't seen either of these movies.
Yeah, what is Baby Teeth about?
A seriously ill teenager falls in love with a drug dealer, her parents' worst nightmare. It is now streaming on AMC Plus and has a 77 score on Metacritic, which is actually a really good score.
Oh, that's fun.
Okay.
Old is 75% of a good movie. Like, it was really good and really interesting and kind of scary for the first hour and 20 minutes. And then the end, like a lot of his movies, except for notably one, just like fully fell apart.
Mm-hmm.
But those first 75% of that movie was really good.
That's great.
Yeah, I like Old. I'm a fan of Old, and it's a really good cast. It was a bunch of not up and comers, but a lot of people whose names just keep popping up more and more and more.
It's gonna get walloped. It's gonna get walloped by Lady Bird
It's not
this
even
week.
it's not even a contest.
Yeah.
This is
Lady Bird
like
is
Duke versus like North Utah Central State.
You couldn't use UNC by default?
Picked a more winning school. Sorry, Caroline. That's one half of the bracket.
Yeah, that's half the bracket. So we have right now the contest is Midsommar versus Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban versus
Wow.
and then there's Lady Bird and Old. That's not even a contest. Sorry.
That's the Gerwig bracket.
Yeah.
Now
That's
we
pretty
go
rough.
to the writer bracket.
Okay.
Who directed the 90s Little Women?
I can't remember off the top of my head.
I don't
I'm
know.
looking it up.
It's the right. We associate Winona Ryder with this movie,
Yeah.
so it's the Gerwig
she
bracket
directed it
and the Ryder
starred
bracket.
in it and is Louisa May Alcott for all
Yeah,
intents and purposes.
she is.
She wrote the source material.
Yeah.
First off, we have Kirsten Dunst.
Okay.
This was a hard one to get down to 2. We have Bring It On versus The Power of the Dog.
And it's really sad that the trailer for Civil War, directed by Alex Garland, couldn't be on here as well because she's awesome in that trailer.
Did you read the article this week? I was just that she said she didn't take a movie for 2 years since Power of the Dog because all she was getting offered was sad mom roles. So,
Oh, wow.
So Civil War is the first movie that she's done in 2 years.
Civil War looks awesome.
I like Power of the Dog a lot. I wanted it to win that year, but because of what you just said, I'm gonna vote for Bring It On.
Okay, and I'm ready to go to the mat for Bring It On because this movie influenced, I'm sure for Andy and myself, sleepovers.
Oh my God, yes.
For like 100 years. My story of seeing Bring It On is my mom's sister was very into genealogy, and we went to Newbury, Massachusetts, so that we could go put on a new headstone for our first ancestor that crossed over on the Mayflower or whatever. But I was 11, didn't care. And my uncle took me and my cousins to go see Bring It On in theaters. And I remember that opening cheer changed my life.
Oh my God,
and
yeah.
that
It's so
movie,
rousing.
I can still do the entire cheer. I mean, it was an incredible depiction of what cultural appropriation is, and to putting into that generation. You have Gabrielle Union looks the same. The Toros,
She does. She has not aged.
And it also introduced sexual tension on a level that with Kirsten Dunst and Eliza
Jesse.
Dushku,
Oh yes.
yeah, when they're brushing their teeth, that is one of the hottest scenes that I've ever seen.
Yes,
I
it's one of
agree.
the hottest scenes, unless you think about dental care. The way they're brushing their teeth. I think about this. I think about this today when I brush my teeth and I look in the mirror. I think about how they brush, spit.
Yeah.
Brush,
Yeah,
spit.
it doesn't make any sense.
Brush,
Yeah.
spit. And it doesn't make sense, and they are not doing a good job cleaning their teeth. And when they end up kissing, I'm just thinking of gingivitis spreading
Sounds-
between their mouths.
Sounds like
Honest-
someone who's never had sexual tension with anybody before.
I was just gonna say these details also bother me. Like they take me out of it when I'm just like, she's not really brushing her teeth, or like, I have such like, I have OCD, like I'm medicated for it, and so like, when people in movies go to the bathroom and then like don't wash their hands, just because it was inconvenient for like the flow of the scene for them to wash their hands, I like can't stop thinking about it afterward. I'm like, they're just going back. They're going back into the rest of the movie with bathroom hands. That's just a little thing about me.
I think that like Power of the Dog, it's great that she got nominated for the Oscar, but this is sort of in line with, we like already mentioned Anne Hathaway, and I'd throw out like Reese Witherspoon too, as these actors who have their critical moment later in life, sure, and that validates them, but they were their best in these beloved movies from like the 90s and early 2000s. Like Reese has never been better than Legally Blonde in Election. And Anne Hathaway's never going to be better than she was in Princess Diaries.
Correct.
And Kirsten Dunst is the best in Bring It On. It's like the best example of what she can do and how she did it perfectly. Like no one was going to do that role better. It is her superpower is to be that character.
And
for sure.
Spirit Finger still lives with us.
For that reason, I am moving on, Bring It On. So I'm doing the Shark Take thing Ethan did in the last round. For that reason, I'm in. Claire Danes, Shop Girl versus an adaptation of Shakespeare where she plays Shop Girl, Romeo and Juliet.
I think I'm going to have to say Romeo and Juliet just because it was such an iconic movie. Like my sister's 6 years older than me, so like I don't remember exactly what year this came out, but I do remember like
96.
at least in my family unit, like I was too young for this movie, but like my sister being 13, this was like the movie. And so I just have a lot of memories of like my sister loving the soundtrack, and like it was just, and it's just like it's such a ridiculous movie. Like I rewatched it recently and I was just like, the fact that this was like so iconic, and it's such an absurd. It's Baz Luhrmann, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Baz Luhrmann.
God, he's out of his mind, man.
Everything he does is insane.
Out of every movie on this list, this is the one I rewatched too, and it's good. It's really good. It's weird and wild, and John Leguizamo is doing his thing, and it's it's what you said. It's the music. It's the way it's directed. It somehow. It's Leo at Leo Slay moment.
The fish tank meet cute is one of those like moments that still like lives in my head, of them seeing across each other across the fish tank. Oh man. Also the soundtrack rules. Love Fool by Cardigan.
So good.
Mwah.
Yeah.
So good.
What they did amazing, like it's a Shakespeare adaptation, but like the Shakespeare dialogue is not what I think of when I think of this movie.
Yeah.
I think of the colors, I think of the editing, I think of the music, and to do that with Shakespeare is insane.
Yeah.
He like actually made Shakespeare like accessible, like with that movie, which is like kind of a tall task, and one that like the American theater has been trying to do for probably too long.
Yeah. He made Shakespeare cool.
And then people tried to do it that way and just
Kenneth
failed
Branagh
miserably.
Yeah, exactly.
And then studios were like, let's adapt it, and then we get a Clueless or
She's the Man.
10 Things I Hate
Over
About
It.
You.
Things I Hate About You. Yeah.
Anyone But
Get
You.
Over It, starring Kirsten Dunst. Anyone But You.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Whoa.
right.
Yeah.
That's much
The Lion
ado, right?
King.
Oh.
Oh,
It's Romeo and Juliet. It's Romeo and Juliet. We all agree.
Yeah.
Remember the movie O? All right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Winona Ryder is next, and we have Girl Interrupted versus Edward Scissorhands.
This is tough for me, actually. This is the
is
first like
tough.
truly tough one for me.
I have to admit something. I've never seen Girl Interrupted.
You've never seen Girl Interrupted?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's upsetting.
Yeah, you know what? You know what? I just said, oh my God. I'm going to say something that might be more shocking. You're not missing much. There, I said it.
Ooh.
I said it. Hot
Okay.
takes on Girl Interrupted. Edward Scissorhands is my vote.
I Yeah, I think I'm going to have to do Edward Scissorhands because it's just such an incredible piece of film. Like, that movie feels so special and iconic to me.
And I'm really glad that we didn't pick Beetlejuice too. Like, I actually think that what she's doing here is a lot harder and really interesting in this movie.
Yeah. I think I think you think about the snow scene. Like, there's yeah.
Vincent Price up in his castle. You got buff ass
Yes.
Anthony Michael
Yeah.
Hall. It was
Oh,
like, I'm not a
also-
nerd anymore. I'm so buff.
Oh my God, Diane Wiest is so good in Edward Scissorhands. She's the mom. Oh, yeah. It's such a good movie.
I will say that, Andy, this was the podcast where we gave Tim Burton the idea to call the movie Beetlejuice.
Yeah,
that
that
was
was us.
Caroline.
That was
who,
us.
Really?
Decided
Yep.
it, and then
Mhm.
it happened.
Yep.
And Caroline, it gets 5% of the gross of that movie.
That's what
now.
I
I believe
negotiated.
it.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Thank you.
Love
you know,
love that for you.
women deserve profit.
Yes. Yes, they really, really do. You break that glass ceiling with that Burton money.
I know. And one poke at a time.
That glass ceiling is made out of CGI. Next up is Trini Alvarado. Yeah, this was
I
a
can't
tough one. to
I
find
can't believe
two
this is what
movies.
we're
I'm not
ending
gonna
on.
lie. I love her so much, but
That
I'm
is
sorry.
that's such a Meg thing, though. Honestly, that's such a Meg thing to like have.
After
Yeah.
Trini-
Like the character, the woman, the actress who played Meg, like sort of faded into obscurity.
Trini Alvarado, The Frighteners versus Paulie.
So I will watch The Frighteners for next week. I haven't seen it, but I know for a fact that it must be better than the movie
Wait a minute.
Paulie about that dumb bird.
Oh my God, this is the parrot movie. Oh,
It's the parrot movie.
With
yeah.
Haley Joel
We've all
Osment's
seen the
sister,
Parrot
the
movie.
Pepsi girl.
wait a minute. Who is the lead? Who's like the lead guy?
It's John
in-
Leguizamo. It's
Oh,
going back to
oh.
Romeo and Juliet. It's
Oh
John
my
Leguizamo.
God, this is. You know how like you just have those weird movies that like my family went to see
Yes.
this in theaters and we really
Yeah.
liked
The
it.
one.
Yeah, like I actually had completely forgotten about this movie. Like I haven't thought about this movie in years, but I have like core memories of like we went to see it as a family in theaters and like we just loved it. Like I just remember
Did Paulie didn't he like rob ATMs?
Yeah.
Wasn't that like a plot point
Yeah.
in Paulie?
yeah, it's definitely a ridiculous movie.
Can we read
But
the
yeah.
plot to Polly?
Yeah, I'll pull it up.
Thank you.
That was Trini Alvarado. Wow, I haven't thought about that in years. I'm having a real moment over here.
There were two John Leguizamo movies growing up that we watched all the time, which was Paulie and The Pest. And like that was like the constant video rentals that we get. Paulie and The Pest. That was like it was my double feature growing up.
First of all, John Leguizamo is not in Paulie.
Is it Tony Shalhoub?
I'm thinking
Yes,
of The
it's
Pest.
Shalhoub.
I'm
Okay.
thinking of The Pest.
Okay, here's the thing. I
Okay.
let you say John Leguizamo, but in my heart, I knew it was Tony Shalhoub. And I'll tell you what, now I'm putting all the pieces together. My mother loves Tony Shalhoub. Loves anything Tony Shalhoub is in. So now I'm realizing I'm like, okay, that's why I have such a strong memory of this movie.
Oh my God, Tony Shalhoub is such a mom crush.
Shalhoub is in it.
I'm so
Jay
mad.
Moore. Jay Moore is the voice of Paulie.
Okay.
And
Gina
he
That's
also
right.
plays
Rowlands.
Benny, a small-time thief. Gina Rowlands, Shalhoub. Cheech Martin is a musician, Ignacio.
Oh my God.
Trini Alvarado is Marie Allweather, Paulie's owner and Misha's love interest.
Yes.
Buddy Hackett from The Music Man as Artie, the owner of a pawn shop. And those are the important people. Here's the plot of Paulie. Oh, wait, this is too long. Let me see if I can get a shorter plot.
I have a short one right
The
here.
film? Okay, do it.
A talking parrot named Paulie recounts his travels to look for his original owner to a Russian janitor who helps him to the end of his journey. That's from IMDb.
So it's like Goodwill Hunting and Finding Nemo.
Wait, did Polly help with like assisted suicide?
What?
The end of his journey. That makes it sound like he helped him.
Oh.
Paulie is about euthanasia, actually. If you rearrange the letters of Paulie, it spells euthanasia.
No. Oh
And
my
the
God.
Frighteners is about Peter Jackson trying to. I think that Peter Jackson directed The Frighteners, right? It's Michael J. Fox,
yeah.
and he's running from ghosts, and there's some cool effects in it.
Ooh,
But here's the thing: Paulie won a BAFTA award.
really?
For
Paulie
what?
won. This was a thing at the time. BAFTA for children's feature film in 1999.
Okay.
What was it up against?
Ooh. Okay, now I have to look this up. Also, can we talk about a BAFTA Children's Award? Because that's
Wow.
awesome.
Okay, so we all agree the Frighteners moves forward because we have strong reactions to the cast of and plot of Paulie.
Paulie's award winner. Frighteners hasn't won anything.
I
I
kind
know,
of
I'm going Paulie.
I'm going Paulie.
Oh my God.
You know what? Not only am I going Paulie, I'm picking Paulie over Edward Scissorhands. We're gonna do a
yeah.
dark horse, dark horse win for
Okay.
Paulie.
Do you want to hear the nominees? Actually, Paulie was the first year that this award was given out. So Paulie won the very first BAFTA for children feature. It was up against, okay, this is actually a wild category. It was against A Bug's Life, Dr. Dolittle, starring Eddie Murphy, and the Rugrats movie.
Oh my God!
Oh.
Wow, what a rich
The
year
dill
for
pickles.
what a
Yeah.
rich year for family-friendly content.
I know.
I know we're going on a lot of tangents, but have any of you seen Rugrats in Paris?
Yes.
Yeah, I
that
don't
movie
think I
fucks me up. That movie fucked me
Oh.
up. That's like my Hereditary of cartoons. That movie is about Chucky's mom dying and his dad
Oh,
accepting that he
no.
can find new
Yeah.
love, and it is so sad.
It's
I'm
really
tearing
sad.
up
I
thinking
know.
of Rugrats in Paris.
the Rugrats raised our generation.
It's true.
You know they're back, right? There's a new
They're
Rugrats,
scary.
and it's
They're horrifying.
It's CGI.
Yeah.
It's not animated.
Oh,
It's not like hand
God.
animation.
Yeah.
Not for me.
Mm-mm.
Not for me.
Also, I looked, and Paddington did win the award. Paddington 2 did win the award in 2018.
Oh, good. All is right with the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could sleep at night.
against Coco, The Greatest Showman, and Incredibles 2.
Wow.
Yeah, that checks out.
Tough
the
category.
best fact about The Greatest Showman is just for years in a row, it's been the most sold CD every
Yeah.
year. That's an amazing
Wait, seriously?
fact, I think.
Like it's the
Yeah.
highest
Yes,
selling
like,
physical CD.
for years, yes.
Yeah.
For like since it's come out, it's the highest selling CD.
That's actually amazing. I wonder what other data you could pull to figure out like who those people are that are buying. Like
It's
what
Zac
else do those
Efron.
people like?
Yeah.
Like
It's
if
just
like,
Zach.
It's just Zac Efron. He just buys them all up.
So that's round one.
Wow.
Wow.
We have the round two is Midsommar versus Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
Okay.
Lady Bird versus Old. I wonder where that will go. This is actually a really fun one on the other side. We have Bring It On versus Romeo and Juliet. That is a good battle.
That's a good
That
And
battle.
then, to me, the hardest one to
Yeah,
pick,
for sure.
Edward Scissorhands versus Paulie. Paulie Hive. I need my Paulie Hive to get up
Paulie's
there.
Yeah.
Was it like George Mason like getting, or what was the team from a couple years ago that made it like really far into
UMBC?
March Madness?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, it was
Mhm.
just like getting really far unexpectedly.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to comment on our post on I Need to See That Pod on Instagram or TikTok, put those bird tweets if you're a Polyhive or the bird emojis.
Paulie Hive, flock together. Let's do this. Let's move them on. I want to see Paulie versus Midsommar in the finals.
Oh,
If Polly wins, do we get Haley Joel Osment's sister on the pod?
If Paulie wins, Ethan is naming his unborn child Paulie Krupp.
yeah. Polly Shalhoub Crump.
Polly Shalhoub Matzo Ball Krupp.
3 of those names are correct. So you'll have to tune in to find the 4th one.
And that's it. Andy, thank you so much for helping us A,
Thanks, Andy.
figure out
Andy.
who moves forward, and B, just figuring out what a March Madness is in general.
Yeah, Andy, can you remind us where can we listen to your podcast?
Oh, yeah. You can listen to it anywhere you listen to podcasts. So Spotify, Apple, if there's another one you like, we have an RSS feed. You can also watch it on YouTube if that's your thing as well, or follow us on social media. I don't remember exactly what our handles are, but some combination of underscores and sports kid, drama kid for each of them. I'm so bad at promoting. Thank you guys for having me.
Great.
Thanks, Andy. This
Thank
was
you
a
for
blast.
being on.
Yeah.
And that's our show. We'll be back next week. And next week we have a great show. We're gonna go over the results of March Madness. We're gonna have Ethan's reluctant review of that J-Lo disaster that he watched. And I watched too, Caroline.
Wow, it's exciting. And I'll discuss why two Leos shouldn't be in a relationship together.
But also, and this
yeah.
is big, we are gonna do a
That's huge.
deep dive. We're doing a deep dive into the movies of Taylor Swift. We're gonna talk about every Andy's face just exploded. We're doing all of the movies
I just
starring or featuring Taylor Swift.
What? I didn't know there were more other than cats, I guess.
She was in
Oh.
Valentine's Day with Taylor Lautner.
Oh, that's right.
That's it.
Talk about it
We'll
next week.
talk about
Yeah.
cats next week. That's
Yep.
it. That's our show. Thank you for listening. Thank you to our listeners in Norway, Ireland, Belgium, Mauritius, Canada, Germany. Thank you to our
Canada's
come on,
new.
60-year-olds. 60-year-olds, you need to get up there. You're down to 5.3%.
Oh no!
Thank you to
Wow.
our 59% female audience. Oh no, we're losing them.
Uh-oh.
Caroline, Ethan, we're losing
Wow.
them.
That's your fault.
Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next week. And as always,
Ethan?
What?
Ethan is Charlotte?
yeah, thank you. Ethan is
Oh, I
Charlotte.
like the
That's
idea.
perfect.
Wait, no, I like the idea of when we have a guest, we just go, and as always, and then we let the guest just like
Yes.
suffer until they're like, oh, me.
And as always,
Ethan is Skipper.
Ethan is Skipper.
Oh, that's ice cold. That is ice cold.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Really
Is
good.
that, is that like
Ethan, we'll get to you in a
Barbie's-
second. We'll get to you in a
Yeah,
second.
yeah,
We'll get to you in a second.
DreamWorks Pictures presents a journey of 1,000 miles
I have to find my friend.
that begins with a single parrot
Can you tell me where I am? You can talk. They talk.
They don't talk. I say taco, they say taco.
Blueberries are blue. Are cranberries crayon?
Are boysenberries boys or girls?
What is this?
It's a flashcard, you idiot.
How do I score that?
Score this!
learning that talking can get you into trouble.
Hit the bricks, ugly.
Train the bird to insult your customers?
No, I can tell you're ugly all by myself.
Somebody has to teach this beautiful bird some manners.
But friendship
I really like you a lot.
I really like you a lot.
Are you just repeating what I'm
Are
saying?
you just repeating what I am saying?
gives you wings to fly. Discover America through the eyes of Paulie.